I fear the cloud gaming dream is dead. I've been a big advocate for cloud gaming over the past few years. In January each year, I try to make this video. Sit down, unscripted, and talk to the camera about the state of the cloud gaming industry. But we're in February right now when I'm recording this, and this is my 7th attempt to make the video. I'm struggling to put the words to it. And the reason for that is, I'm struggling to find positives to talk about. I don't want to sit here and be constantly negative. It's not great for you, it's definitely not great for my mental health or my general demeanour, yet there's very little good to talk about in terms of cloud gaming. We could pull out that 250 million hours were played on GeForce Now in 2023. We could pull out that they upgraded their ultimate tier to the 4080 from the 3080, which is great. We could pull out that PlayStation put out 4K 120 frames per second gaming. We could pull out that Xbox signed deals with GeForce Now, Boosteroid, Utomic, and a couple of others to bring games to many more platforms from the Xbox library. The problem with pulling out those positives, though, is that each one is heavily caveated. Each one has negatives that can be attributed to it and are huge provisos as to whether it is a positive overall. The GeForce Now 4080 tier, for most people it doesn't do any more than the 3080 tier did, because they are playing it on screens that can't do more than the priority tier, which does 1080p 60 FPS visuals. For the PlayStation 5 game streaming, you can only access that on a PlayStation 5. You can only access the cloud gaming of a PlayStation 5 game on the one piece of hardware that can run these games natively on the planet. Seems to slightly defeat the point, even if it does save a lot of space on your internal SSD. Microsoft's deals, well, they're not really coming true at the moment. Yes, there's bits on GeForce Now, bits on Boosteroid and co, but they also signed a deal with Nintendo, and no games additional have appeared on Switch since that deal was signed. How many more are going to appear on these other services, and do you have to pay for 2 subscriptions to be able to get them on the one that runs them better? Do you see my point? Those were only a few positives that I was able to pull out from the past 12 months of the cloud gaming industry. And all of them have caveats. But the heaviest one, the one that I didn't touch on, is those 250 million hours played on GeForce Now. Because that sounds like a lot. It sounds like a huge amount of time played on a single platform. But Cloud Dosage, an online blog that is run by cloud gaming enthusiasts, sat and did the mathematics behind this one. They did the sums, and they figured out how much game time in comparison to just Steam that means that they are achieving. Because bear in mind, you need a Steam account and you need a Steam library to play on GeForce Now. And those maths that Cloud Dosage did showed that those 250 million hours are less than 0.1% of Steam's playtime in the last 12 months. That's one platform versus one platform. GeForce Now versus Steam. That's not adding in any of the consoles. That's not adding in mobile. But just platform to platform, they have less than 0.1% of game time in a year. And GeForce Now is the biggest cloud gaming provider right now. You're telling me that I'm meant to sit here and be positive? That the advocacy that I have had in previous years is meant to be untainted by that? It's meant to remain unfiltered and positive in spite of the reality in front of us? Because you see, for me, someone who has been a cloud gaming advocate for years, 2024 just seems like the year when I forget about it. The only time I've used cloud gaming this year is for recording purposes, for videos that I've made. So I released an Assassin's Creed Mirage review, for example, and I used GeForce Now to capture the Assassin's Creed Syndicate footage because I didn't want to dig out the disc to be able to play it on my PlayStation 4. And running that game on PlayStation 5, it's not recommended, it's not officially supported. So I played it on GeForce Now to get the footage for all of 3 seconds of that video. The only other time I played it was for my drone mask review, because I could stick Assassin's Creed Unity on GeForce Now, have my phone in this mask up here, and have a massive widescreen experience of it. Because PlayStation Remote Play, Xbox Remote Play, they lock at the 16:9 aspect ratio that these consoles are meant to do. GeForce Now fills the screen of my phone, so it was a better experience for that particular environment. But they are the only two times that I have used GeForce Now through 2024, and we're nearly 2 whole months in. As someone who used to claim to be a cloud gaming advocate, if I am not able to use it, if it has no place in my personal life outside of recording and making YouTube content, what good is it? For all of the others, example, I haven't touched Luna since making a video on it in April 2023, when it launched in UK, Germany, and a couple of other places. For PlayStation Plus cloud gaming, I last used that in February to make a video on gaming subscriptions are scams. Prior to that, the only time I've used it in my personal life was to play Resistance 3, and that was December last year. Xbox cloud gaming, I last used to play Starfield in September 2023. Boosteroid I last used in March 2023. And the reason I'm not using these services is that they perform really poorly most of the time. There's stuttering, there's frame dips, there's resolution changes, there's full disconnections. And it's not like I'm on bad internet here. I have 5G everywhere I live, so if I'm playing on my mobile phone, for example, I can just use my mobile internet. Have the lowest latency possible. This is what people have been telling me for years to do. And I still get those problems with this and its own native internet connection. But if I'm playing at home, I'm on gigabit broadband, 1024 megabit per second broadband. I've actually had it go to 1200. I've had 1200 megabits per second down in this house. I have a ping to nearly every server of around the 15 to 19 milliseconds. There is no reason that I should be having the terrible experiences that I am having with pretty much every single service. And yet I do. I have terrible experiences to the point where I just stop using them because my time is more valuable than putting up with the challenges that these services put in front of me. And this is coming from the mouth of someone who has used cloud gaming a lot, whose channel grew a lot of subscribers from cloud gaming, whose third best performing video in 2023 is about cloud gaming. It has a place in my life, but it feels like it's not giving back. All the positivity that I've put into it in the past, I don't feel that in receipt. And when you don't feel that, when you're putting money on something and it's not paying you back, it's not giving you a service for that cost, you question why you continue to do it. So here I am, at the beginning of 2024, losing faith in cloud gaming. It does have a place. I do not think that cloud gaming is going to disappear. I don't think it's dead, and I don't think it ever will be. We said very similar things about cloud video and cloud music. Oh, it'll never replace CDs, but we said CDs would never replace tapes, and tapes would never replace vinyl. And yet, here we are now with MP3s in the cloud being the primary way everybody listens to music. It's the same sort of thing here. And one day, eventually, maybe, everybody will be playing in the cloud. But right now, it has a very niche place. Either for those who can't afford to upgrade their PC rig, so they use something like GeForce Now or Boosteroid to get more longevity out of their hardware, so they're still able to game and do everything else on it without a massive expenditure for either new internal parts or a whole new laptop, whatever the case may be. And it has a place for console players in allowing them to free up some storage space. Things like Horizon Forbidden West and Starfield are massive games. They take up so much space on your internal storage. So being able to cloud stream them, especially on the PlayStation side, in native resolutions and frame rates is an amazing thing. But it feels like it's beyond stagnated. It may have even regressed. And I do think it was with the loss of Stadia that we started to see such regression, because that was a service that worked on high latency networks and still gave you a good gaming experience. wasn't the best visuals, wasn't the best latency or input, but it was still totally playable for the majority of folks who tried it. But that competition left last year. They gave up, threw in the towel and walked away in January 2023. And this was before Baldur's Gate 3 released. A game that had been in early access on Stadia for years and was meant to be a Stadia exclusive, at least for a period. That would have catapulted Stadia, a new game exclusive to that platform for a period of time that has won multiple Game of the Year awards. That would have changed the landscape of gaming, not just cloud gaming, but gaming in general. This game's so good, people need to play it, they will try it, especially when you tell them that access to the platform was free. They just needed to buy the game. But they threw in the towel, they quit the competition, and they allowed everybody else to become complacent. And complacency is the enemy of innovation. It is the enemy of progression. And it's what we're seeing in cloud gaming. I wish I had something more positive to say. I had to go searching for the few at the beginning of this video in terms of positive things about cloud gaming. But I do also believe that honesty matters. So here I am, at the start of 2024, honestly holding my hands up and saying, I think the cloud dream might be over, at least for now. But what about you guys? What do you think of the state of cloud gaming at the beginning of 2024? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure whilst you're down there to also do the usual like and subscribe. There is a channel member button there as well. And for anybody who has joined, thank you so much. It really helps to support the channel and allow me to keep making content. Otherwise, I'd like to thank you all very much for tuning in. And if you've enjoyed this video, maybe try out one of these ones that have been mentioned throughout it. Otherwise, until next time, folks, have yourselves an absolutely fantastic day and take care.